Hello, fellow mad scientists. We are here with the Color Chemist to do some tie-dyeing with the three primary colors, our blue, our red, and our yellow. And we talked about green screen last week, so if you don't see the blue really well, that's okay. Just know that this one is blue. So today we're going to tie-dye, and before we do that, we have to set it up. You have to have plastic on the table, plastic bags to put your t-shirts in, gloves to keep your hands clean, and of course the t-shirts you're going to tie-dye and the rubber bands to tie around it. The t-shirts need to be wet before you begin to tie-dye so the dye will soak into it even better. So get ready, fellow mad scientists, to tie-dye to see what our colors will be. Here we are tie-dyeing. The first thing we're going to want to do is put on our gloves to protect it. Tie-dye can be bought at any craft store, and it usually comes with gloves and rubber bands. It's the other stuff to protect your table, knowing too that this is tie-dye for cloth, so it will tie-dye the clothes you're wearing. So you want to be very careful. I'm going to use 5 rubber bands for this t-shirt, and I'm going to start very simply. Let me pop them open so I am ready. Because when we mix our primary colors, we're going to end up with our secondary colors. See, already starting to dye. I'm going to take my t-shirt and I'm going to roll it. And you can roll it up, you can roll it sideways. There are several ways to tie-dye. Then I'll take my rubber bands and I'll twist them as tight as I can get them. Wearing gloves because it's really hard. And this is what creates the difference in your tie-dye in section to section. I'll take my next part and go a little bit farther down. And because we are unique and different, our tie-dye will always be a little bit unique and different from each other's, even if we use the same method. It's just the way it works. If you need help now, tie-dyeing, ask a grown-up and they can help you get your rubber bands on and to set it up so it'll be nice and clean. I'm almost there. This is the hard work. The fun is adding the colors. But you have to do a little bit of hard work in order to have the outcome the way you want it. One more, and we are ready to dye. I don't want to put too much on the table because then it might not get the effect. I just take it and I'm going to start with my red primary, and I soak it really good. I'm going to move. I want to get close to the rubber bands. I want to soak it so it goes into the t-shirt, but I don't want to put so much down that I'm getting more on the plastic. Whoop! I'm going to roll it right over. Now, what color can I use in between? What color do you think it will create if I change my color to blue? Let's do some blue, and I'm going to squeeze it all the way towards the red because I want my colors to blend just a little bit. color up. You see what happens, and it'll stay blue. My fingerprint will be there. That's why we can be really careful when we tie-dye. So I'm using my 3 primary colors, and of course, they're going to make some secondary colors. Where the rubber bands are, it'll stay a little bit white. Oh, let's add a little blue. Let's add a little blue there. See if we get a little green. All right, that's one method of tie-dyeing, using our rubber bands, making sure we soak it down in there so we get all of it covered. When I'm done with it, I'm going to take and put it into a plastic bag, and it's going to sit there for 24 hours. I can just set it to the side. Now with this one, I'm not too worried about what's on the table because I'm going to do a different method here. This is called the scrunchy method. And this is where we take our fingers and we just scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. And you'll see this one just a little bit. Scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. And then I take my colors and I just stripe it across. I'm going to do a pattern across it. You know what happens when you put too much of yellow, red, and blue together? What color does it turn? That's right, brown. So I really don't want brown, so I'm not going to overdo it. Now there's some places that won't have dye because I scrunched it. Then I'm going to take my plastic bag. I'm going to pick it up carefully, keeping it scrunched. Lay it down in there. Wrapping it up. And leaving it for tomorrow. Of course, then we have to clean up. And I have more for some more. All right, mad scientists, I'll see you tomorrow.
Kicking another scientist out of the lab, how rude. Well, anyway, mad scientists, welcome to the Better Lab. So today we are going to be looking at a little something different. They're a little thing I find quite interesting. These little rings here, which you'll see closer in just a moment, are called spectrums. Each one can read a color and play a different sound off of it. So, mad scientist, what you see here in my hand is what I call a spectrum ring. It's by the company called Spiro. But these little rings can read whatever color I touch and play it. And here I'll show you. Here. And you can play whatever color you want with these things. They can also read the table. Not sure why that red is green, but that's okay. So, these drums, these little spectrums here, you can even learn to play songs with. For example, one you all know. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. And you can see it light up on the iPad here with what I hit. And I have 2 rings, so I can play 2 notes at a time. And if I want, I can also change the instrument. There's so many different instruments I can click. One that's a little bit weird is called a retro arcade. And those ones on the top there that you see across the top do different beats. And you can play while it does that. the spectrums are really cool with how you can do that. You can create any sort of sounds and all just from the colors around you. So, mad scientists, thank you for checking out this week's science experiment.
Patience, patience. I had to let it sit. Now it's time to see what it looks like. So I'm going to carefully take it out of the bags. You see, I still have gloves on. This one was the scrunchy one. Ooh, look at how the colors mix. Isn't that beautiful? Now let's look and see what this with the rubber bands look like. Oh, it's a little wet. I still want to be careful. Now, there's two ways to take your rubber bands off. You can slowly pull them off like this, or the faster way, but be very careful because you don't want to cut your shirt, is to cut the rubber bands. Oh, I'm trying. What color does yellow, orange, and yellow, green, yellow, blue, and red make? That's right, it's sort of like a brown. So I might have a little bit of that in there where I put all three colors together. Last rubber band. There we go. Now, let's unroll. I use plenty of dye. Do you see how our three primary colors mix? And I've got my stripes in. Oh, one more last thing to do before I finish. I've got to rinse them out in some cold water. I'll be right back. I'm back. Now they're all rinsed out. They need to dry.